And
Yeah,
we are
races.
off.
We are off, indeed. So, can I explain anything about the intro?
Go ahead.
So Mega Man X2 intro stage, a very straightforward stage, as most people know from X1, and then playing X2. You do start off with the dash in this game. There's no RNG in this stage. It's pretty much just go fast. That's all you do. Make sure there's nothing in your way and just go fast. Mm-hmm. And both people missing the chain jump there. The claw that can grab you, you can actually jump at quite not too precise, but still not too easy jump to make it right over to the ledge there instead of having to do an extra wall kick or being grabbed by the claw. And that's actually pretty much the only somewhat hard trick in this stage. Other than that, it's just straightforward. Go fast, and then you can just optimize it over time.
Yeah, Trogdor got one of the at least one of the gap jumps there before the wall section there, and then I'm not sure if he got the one after. Those are just small time saves. They just look really cool. You don't need to do them, but if you try to go for a gap jump and you don't quite get it, you always want to make sure to press up to grab the ladder so you don't fall back down.
Yeah, they are quite actually. The gap jumps are probably in intro are probably one of the hardest gap jumps in the game.
Yeah, they're spaced out quite a bit from the wall that you have to jump off of to reach them, so you don't have much of a pixel window to actually get in the gap.
Yeah.
So as you see, both our players are here in Sponge, and they're grabbing the heart tank. They are getting the Shoryuken, so they have to pick up all the items, plus get all of the X's capsule upgrades. Trogdor had a small little problem getting to that ledge leading up to the sub-tank. But not
Berlin also having some issues with the log jump, or however you want to call it. Pretty sure it's called log jump.
So after the halfway point, we have to deal with some RNG for the weather patterns. Trogdor got a good third pattern, and he got the best final pattern, which is what you want in a actual attempt of this game, if you can manage it. And if you get lucky, nice. And he got both the gap jumps there at the end.
Trogdor pulling off a quite a good stage right there. Berlin having a bit of issues on the elevator, but other than that, doing pretty good.
So let's see how Sponge does with Trogdor here. And he starts spinning off with, he spins his chain. So if he does that, you have to take an intentional damage boost just so you can get a dash shot inside of his hitbox while you're invincible. And
ideally,
yes, wow! Nice. Sponge decided to go up at the last possible moment before. I think Trogdor was going to make him go angry if he didn't go up at that point.
Yeah, that's probably the best to do during races. So to explain, like Justin was saying, just explain a little bit about Sponge for people that don't know much about it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry. Sponge has quite a couple patterns. And the most ideal pattern he can do is swinging his, I call it a hook shot, into the ceiling and going up. And doing that twice in a row is what we call the God Sponge. And that way you can kill him without going angry. And I'm not sure, it's at 8 health. If he gets below 8 health, he goes angry. And then you can hit him for about 10 seconds. Or
if he reaches 9 HP or less, he will go angry.
9, sorry, my bad.
No problem.
Now both heading into Gator. I didn't quite see what kind of sponge Berlin had. I don't think he had a good one, though. Yeah. Gator's probably one of the most technical stages in this game because you optimize it a lot using the charge chain you just got from Sponge. So there's a lot of tricks you can do with it. Like, for example, Trogdor and now Berlin doing the chain jump to get to the arm capsule and having some trouble with it. It's not the easiest jump. You can get it quite consistent, but you can get it really consistent, but it's not the easiest. And, yeah, if you want to explain a little bit more.
So yeah, Trogdor he opted to get the heart there with the charge chain, If the mech comes to that ladder fast enough, it's actually faster to take a deboost in the ladder well, and then use your charge chain after obtaining the heart to kind of make some progress through the stage a little bit quicker. But I think the mech was too slow that Trogdor just opted to go with the chain.
Yeah.
And now he's coming up on the Gator fight, but before he gets there, I think he's going to go for the triple chain. And, well, he gets a double chain, which is just as good. The idea, you want to place your chain at just the right moment to where it pulls X over the cannon driver, and then with the second good chain, it'll grab the wall directly under that one, and then he ends up right in front of the door.
Yeah. Heading into the Gator fight. Gator is a very interesting boss, I'd say. You start off with a normal chain, and depending on what your strat is, your second chain will either be a charged chain or an uncharged chain. The charged chain is about a second faster if you do it correctly, and the way you do it is when the health bar fills up and you have a charge going on, you buffer an input. As soon as the music starts to load, like the health bar is full, you buffer an input, and that way you can still release a chain without letting go of the charge. And then explaining about the Gator fight, which Berlin is doing right now. Let's see if he can get the one cycle. One cycle is a very hard trick.
Yeah, and also another thing to note, berlindude is playing on emulator and Trogdor is playing on console, so the timing to fire the chain is different for both players. Since there's no lag on Berlin's side, he has to kind of fire the chain a little bit faster than Trogdor has to. And so if you're transferring over from emulator to console, this is probably one of the first big things that you have to adjust for.
Yeah, definitely. Quickly explain the Gator fight a little bit more. He has a 5-frame, I believe a 5-frame window each hit you make, so you chain him once and there's a 5-frame window that you can hit him again, and if you miss that, it will go under, and you will, depending on how empty his health bar is, will lose quite a bit of time. The earlier in the fight you miss it, the longer he will stay under, usually. He can come up quite fast, but you'd have to be very lucky for it early in the fight.
Trogdor is coming up on the last climb in the stag, so he has to, you see these little small ledges protruding out from the walls. He has to constantly go back and forth and just landing on them and just going back and forth while not hopefully dropping a dash input, which he doesn't do. And then right there, as he goes into the door, he releases his first charge shot. And this puts X in a glitch state to where it stores his second shot, but now he's able to swap to a weapon while he goes to the corridor there, and then he opts to, you can fire a chain there at that door, which will pull X a little bit quicker to the door, which saves a few frames, and then you can quickly swap back to Buster before touching the second door. So Trogdor is using the ground dash shot with, the OVA fight, we call it usually, where he just stays on the ground and lets Stag just jump up above him, and then Stag will come back down. So as long as you don't continue to climb the wall along with Stag, he'll always come back down. And which is kind of good because if he's on the ground, he can possibly use his fireball attack, which actually resets his iframes in mid-throw, so you can get a few dash shots on him a little bit faster. If he does the pattern, it's not a guarantee.
I'm not sure what's happening right now, but Berlin's game feed seemed to be stuck.
You have to refresh it. Yeah, it happens a lot on my end also. I had to refresh. It just froze on Berlin's end. I hope his emulator didn't crash or something.
Having a bit of technical issues here. I really hope his timer stopped. I think his emulator crashed. Or it's his stream. Or it's the stream just crashing. I don't know. Sorry, a bit of technical issues. Really hope we can fix this. Or Berlin can fix it.
But continuing on, Trogdor is got the burner to the sub-tank. So you have to have a charge burner there, and you have to jump off that last ledge there, at pretty much close to the very end of it, and then release your burner at just the right moment, and it'll thrust you into that wall. If you release your burner too soon or too late, you won't make the grab.
that jump's actually more precise than you'd think, but it's also very easy to get down, depending on what route you're doing, because there's still people that do Ostrich third. Oh, getting some game feedback from Berlin.
Yeah,
third.
he's back.
On Ostrich third, you actually have air dash there, so it's way easier to get. Hence, also why it's more of a beginner's route.
So if you notice that Trogdor is just about out of burner in this stage. So the burner, all of the burner usage is pretty tight, so you can't waste a burner. And at the very end of that Raider Killer fight, he had 1 energy left, and that allows him to use one final burner in that last hallway. So let's see how Centipede treats Trogdor. And he doesn't decide to do the Magna Attractor or the Tailspin. So if you hit Magna Centipede while he's going to throw shurikens, he will take knockback damage, and that forces a teleport. So if Centipede teleports, he will teleport at least once, but he can teleport up to 4 times, and he will randomly appear in one of the 4 corners of the room. And there, about midway through, he got the Tailspin glitch. And to do that is when Centipede deploys his tail segments. When they leave the screen, you have to time a dash jump to the same wall that on the same side of the room that he's on. So in this example, Centipede was on the right side of the room. So you want to dash jump to the right wall and then slide down the wall as the segments come back on screen. And then it will glitch out his move, and he's basically stuck. And he can't exit the move until the tailspin is corrected. Which, if you don't move around or slide on the same wall too much, you can actually keep him frozen in that move, and it's basically a free fight from then on out.
Yeah. Trogdor heading into Snail, and Berlin getting to the second mini boss of Centipede. Snail is also quite, in my opinion, the best stage in the game, because there's also like 0 to no RNG. Like, I don't think there's any RNG in that stage, actually. And
yeah, it's an execution stage, but the only RNG is the final attack that Snail decides to do in the fight. Trogdor tried to beat the shot there, but didn't quite get it.
Alright, so interesting trick here. The mini-boss skip is very easy. Very easy. Basically what you do is you go too fast for the game to actually catch up to you with, like, the trigger of the mini-boss. You go too fast for the game to load it. So you basically just leg out the mini-boss. That's pretty much how, yeah.
Yeah, the camera scrolls as fast as you dash, but you go, when you use the burner, you actually go faster than your dash speed, and you actually, you pass the trigger point of the boss room so fast that the camera can't lock you in there, and that's how you skip. And it doesn't spawn the boss either. So Trogdor releases another. He releases his first charge into that second door because he's going to buffer a lemon into Snail, and then he's going to fire the second charge shot, and hopefully that deals a total of 4 damage. And then he's going to do a dash shot, and then switch to Magnet Mine, and then place the mine behind him, and then when Snail hits it, and then he has the charge Magnet Mine ready. And it looks like, he didn't get the full 4 damage from that neon plus the lemon. If you don't catch Snail with the full brunt of that neon, he's left with 1 HP, so you lose a second when you have to shoot him with another mine when he gets to the opposite corner.
Yeah. Snail is a very, very cool fight.
Berlin gets the heart, but he loses the mech, so he has to ride this platform back.
That loses quite some time. Yeah. That's something that always bothered me about this game, how the developer intended for you to mash the button, which doesn't seem like a thing you think about very quickly. At least it seems that way.
Looks like Berlin's it froze on him. Uh-oh.
Oh. Wow.
Okay.
I was about to say, I think, yeah, he did get the mini-boss skip, alright.
So Trogdor's on the bike in Ostrich stage. So you hold dash the entire time you're on this bike to go as fast as possible. Then you have to shoot 3 lemons, or not 3 lemons, but 3 shots from the bike to bring down the second to last ramp. And then you have to shoot 3 more when you get onto the upper cliff so you don't crash the bike into the ramp. And then you have to turn the bike at just the right place on the spikes so you back into the heart, but you don't go too far where you die on the spikes. On that last little ramp before the spikes, you can actually let go of dash, and then while the bike's moving at normal speed, if you turn the bike just before picking up the big health, or not the health, but the big ammo refill, you should be perfectly set to grab the heart without dying. So if you're looking for a visual cue, that's a pretty good one to use to turn the bike.
Ooh, Berlin. I don't know if we tried to go for the quick kill on Snail. Sadly didn't get it.
But it's good that he can kick the shell, so it keeps Snail from trying to go back in it. And then Trogdor is going for the ostrich fight. He's going to hit him with the dash shot, and then freeze him, and then hit him again while he's frozen. And then when ostrich is forced to do a jump in the air, and then Trogdor will do a dash shot before his iframes cancel, and then hit him with a Crystal Hunter after his iframes reset, and then it's just a basic loop.
Yeah, it's probably one of the harder fights to perform in this fight. Doing it in this game, doing it optimally. We're doing the double hit where dash lemon and then instantly ice instead of dash lemon jump ice. Quite a hard fight.
Yeah, it's a pretty technical fight to do because there's a lot of inputs that you got to do in quick succession. But if with a little bit of practice, it's not too difficult.
Yeah. It just all takes practice. And, Berlin entering the ostrich stage, also getting on the bike. Hopefully he can pull off the bike section, because it's also not the easiest. And Trogdor just finishing off the fish with the charged slicer, getting the slope jump first try and going to the heart. That is, I say quite a lot, but it is quite a lot, quite a hard jump to make, because you don't have much room to kick off the little ledge there. So it's very easy to be a bit too high or just not get a wall kick at all. And if you're too high, you actually bonk and you'll fall instantly.
Yeah, another thing, X2's water, I wouldn't say water mechanics, but wall mechanics are a little bit different than Mega Man X1. If you do a dash jump off of a wall in X1, you have to press dash and jump at the same time. But in this game, and along with Mega Man X3, as long as you hold that dash button when you do a jump off of a wall, it actually dash kicks off the wall for you. So in order to hit that slope jump and then hit that wall, as Trogdor did to get the heart tank, you have to hold the dash button and then press jump, and then press jump again at the right time, and then move away from the wall so you don't bonk off. There's actually 2 little ceilings in that. Even though the ceiling looks slanted, there's actually 2 little ceilings there, and you can bonk off the little tiny one, and it's really deceptive.
Yeah.
So basically, as you're charging up for the burner, you're holding down Y, and you have to hold down dash, and then you have to press B, or whatever button you have assigned to jump. So you're holding 2 buttons down, and then you have to press a third. So it's a pretty tricky jump. It's usually one of the scariest jumps to learn to do when you do stack third. Trogdor had a pretty decent crab fight, if I saw that correctly. I don't think he had much of a problem.
No, just a pretty straightforward fight. Nothing special to it. And, heading into Moth, and Berlin just went into Moth. I don't know if that's a mistake, or does he do ostrich?
He does crab last because he's gonna use the charge silk shot in the little hidden passage under the red gate that opens after you killed the sub, and he's gonna get sub tank energy.
Yeah.
For later.
That's actually quite a good idea for beginners.
Yeah, for new players that are not comfortable doing the end of the game without needing the sub tanks, it's good to do crab last just to take advantage of that opportunity. And we'll talk about that when Berlin gets there.
Yeah. So Moss stage is again also one of the harder stages in the game, but not really hard, but a lot of RNG. Not a lot of RNG, but there's RNG and there's a lot of lag involved. And
yeah,
the lag is also kind of RNG, I guess, because
it's Trogdor got like a gravity jump there.
Yeah,
the speed burner can do weird things to your jump. Like after you use it, sometimes if you jump, especially if you take damage, when you try to jump, you actually float. We're not sure why that happens, but it's just a strange thing that happens in this stage.
Oh, by the way, my bad. Just gonna inform that Trogdor actually got one Gameo hit on Crab. So
okay. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Gameo is pretty much just sort of a double hit with a charged wheel, and it's quite hard. I say quite way too much. But
So Trogdor is taking out the Moth Cocoon right now. Okay.
Ooh, Berlin missing and still getting the pink bug.
So a 2106 Moth kill from Trogdor, that's pretty good for a race. That's probably about a 33 1x pace. Maybe an 0x pace if he has a really good counter hunter stages, but we'll have to see what happens. The run's not over by any means.
Counter hunter is that's probably one of the main things that makes X2, in my opinion, very hard, is because the counter hunter stages are probably the hardest part of the game, and it's in late game, so it's quite a lot of pressure on you, and that can definitely have, like, if you don't deal with pressure very well, that can cause some issues.
Yeah, in Counter Hunter 1, you're using almost all your weapons, and it all enhances your movement. As you see, Trogdor uses the Crystal Snail weapon to freeze those screwdriver enemies, so he uses the first one to jump off of, and when you freeze the second one, it doesn't create a wall until after you've already gotten inside of it, basically. So you basically kind of get maybe a little zip as it freezes, but it takes away the hitbox of the screwdriver enemy, so you don't take damage from it. And then as he continues to climb, he uses the speed burner. You prepare anytime that you have room to charge up for a speed burner, you want to, because that way when you have an open place to use it, you want to use it to save as many frames as possible.
Yeah. For anyone new to this game and starting to practice Counter Hunter 1, stretch your hands before you do so, because this stage is hand cramps everywhere.
Okay, Trogdor is getting decent. He's getting good pattern for Violin there for a minute. You basically want Violin to place a block optimally over his head when he forms his block. He will automatically raise his arms as soon as the battle starts to create some blocks. But then, if he jumps, he's not throwing the mace ball around that causes lag in random places. I think if all the sprites are on the same y-axis on the screen, it creates a lot of lag.
Yeah, that definitely does. It's weird how he's the easiest boss in the run, but he can cost you quite a bit of time.
And we missed berlindude getting some energy from the. I guess he got some subtake energy from the hidden passage that we failed to talk about. Basically, as soon as the red gate opens from beating the submarine, you use the charge Silk Shot, and then once the Silk Shot reaches a full charge, it basically attracts a lot of full health refills. So it takes 7 of these large health refills to fill a sub-tank from empty. So when the charge finishes, it actually disappears, and the 7 or 8 big health capsules will appear. And actually, you can continue to hold your charge, and then a few seconds later, 8 more of these will appear. So in just a matter of seconds, you can get like all your sub-tanks full that you have in your possession, which is at that point in the game 3, because you don't pick up the 4th sub-tank until a little bit later in that stage.
to quickly talk about Counter Hunter 2, it's probably the shortest stage in the game, but it's also one of the hardest. The stage itself is quite scary because there's some spikes involved, and if you do very optimally, you do elevator skip, and elevator skip can be very scary for newcomers to the game, because you basically just dash over a bunch of spikes and you surface jump on the water, and if you're fast enough, you can reach the elevator before it goes off, and if you don't reach it, it will lose you 20 seconds.
Yeah, and Trogdor got the triple-double on the Sergei's fight, as you were discussing movement in Counter Hunter 2. Yeah. So that was pretty sick. That's probably the hardest fight in the game to do, because to do it optimally, there's a lot of strategic and precise places you have to stand, and
also some RNG involved. So
okay, Trogdor's trying to do So he's gonna go top right, I think. Yep.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, he has to wait up. He's gonna take damage. So before Trogdor reaches the Shoryuken capsule load trigger, he has to have full health. If you go past the load point and you don't have full health, the Shoryuken capsule will not spawn, and you actually have to die and retry on another life, because if you decide to, if you try to use a sub-tank and try to go back through that trigger point, the capsule will not appear. So here comes the crystal shot with a wall kick off this. Yep, gets it.
Very nice. Really just finishing off Violin and Counter Hunter 1.
I've learned how to do that strat, but I'm afraid to do it when I'm on pace. I don't see it to be worth it to lose a 26-minute run to a 2-frame trick. From what I understand, that's the window. It could be more, but that's what I was told.
Yeah, it's. I don't even know. It doesn't save much anyway, so.
Yeah, you're about at the 26-minute mark when you reach that section on a good pace run.
Yeah.
Well, at least for me, it's usually right about 26 minutes.
So Berlin in Counter Hunter 2, I'm wondering if he goes for elevator skip or not. Let's see.
No, I don't think he is.
He doesn't.
So Trogdor going into the SRK rush, and he does some sick double neons there as he climbs the wall. So Trogdor is going Gator first, which I think a lot of us do now most of the time. Sometimes we'll mix it up, but this is like the hardest Shoryuken to nail on Gator. So you have to hit 4 chains like you would in the initial fight, and then after the 4th chain, you have to weapon cancel and then go right into a Shoryuken.
And Trogdor gets it. Very nice. Yeah, this is what I was... Oh, sorry. You go ahead. This was what I mentioned earlier, that the late game of this game is very stressful, and the Gator Shoryu being probably one of the main reasons it is stressful. If you go for a good time, that is.
Mm-hmm. And Trogdor gets Centipede. Centipede has his 3 usual attacks. The problem sometimes is that you expect him to do one attack and then he does another, and he actually shifts his hitbox just enough to where when you do a Shoryuken, it doesn't quite one-hit him. Or hits him or it kills the Centipede in one Shoryuken, so you have to do a second one sometimes. But if you wait, usually, once you see what he does, getting the Shoryuken to guarantee a kill isn't too difficult. You just don't want to rush it, because you don't want to accidentally walk into Centipede by accident if you fail the Shoryuken input. Ooh, and Sponge cooperates, and Trogdor just waits for Sponge to land before he hits him with the Shoryuken.
Very nice. Sponge, as you saw in the beginning of the game, has some RNG, and also in the refights he has some RNG, because if he spins his hook shot, as I still call it, it will lose you 3 seconds. There is a backup strat to actually one-hit him when he does that, but it's quite precise. There I go again. And it's risky because you can bonk very easily.
Yeah, it is possible to Shoryuken through the chain and still kill him, but you have to pretty much land and get the final input of your Shoryuken off without moving forward.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if there's a 50-50 to that, because the Shoryuken deals damage on every other frame. It's not every consecutive frame.
I don't think it's 50-50. I actually just think it's really precise. I'm not sure though. You'd have to ask Trogdor, because I'm pretty sure he's the one that came up with this strat.
Yeah, it is difficult, that's for sure. So everyone just waits for Sponge to throw the chain, and then you just dash under it and Shoryuken, if that is the case. Trogdor is just picking up this health just for safety.
Berlin.
Oh no.
Ooh. Yeah. That's. I was thinking it already, as Justin mentioned, the 2-frame ice kick Trogdor did.
Ooh, icy hot from Trogdor. Goes on icy to dull the pain and gets hot to relax it away.
Berlin dying again. Oh, this doesn't seem good for Berlin. So what I was going to say about the ice. Ice is a very, very weird weapon. Sometimes you just clip through it. There's no reason for it, really. You just sometimes clip through it. Maybe there's a reason, but I don't know about it. And it has killed quite some of my earlier runs. And
see how Trog gets Snail here. Oh, he tries to bait him with the item tracer to bait him in the shell, and then when Snail exits the shell, he's going to try to Shoryuken him, but I don't think it was quite close enough to get it. So he has to finish off with the magnet mines. Oh, Trogdor almost got the infinite bounce with the shell, but X was too close when he killed Crystal Snail.
Ooh, an Agile almost juking Berlin. If you do a Shoryuken early in the Agile fight, he can actually go out of the way and you'll fall on the spikes.
Yeah, unless it looks like, yeah.
Well, actually, I think Berlin did a buffer because he didn't land in the spikes.
I was about to say, depending, look at the corner of X's front foot there. The corner, his heel was on the corner of it, touched the corner of that lip, or that ledge, and that's pretty much tells you that was a buffered Shoryuken. So if you buffer a Shoryuken like that, you won't land on the spikes if you somehow miss the Agile. But if you don't go for a buffer and you walk forward just a little bit and then Shoryuken, if Agile goes invincible immediately, you will die, because when you land on the spikes, your invincibility from doing the Shoryuken is over, and then you just instantly die.
Yeah. Trogdor getting into the zero fight. Not the easiest fight, because you have to do 2 Shoryukens, and he gets it. Very nice.
Yeah, Zero's hitbox is just a little too short to get him with 1 Shoryuken.
Yeah. Would be very nice if he had a taller hitbox. And getting into the first form of the final boss. This is also, what I mentioned earlier, the stress level of this game is very high, because at this point, your run is still far from over, because Wolverine Sigma has quite some tricks up his sleeve. Usually he does the right thing, but he can't really
instant teleport.
Like that.
That's actually not too bad. As long as you can get the teleport, or as long as you get the Shoryuken as Sigma comes back from teleporting back in, that's not too bad.
Yeah. It still does lose some time, but for example, you can do pink balls, and if you're not prepared, you can have a really bad time then. It can pretty much be the end of your run. But if you're prepared...
Trogdor finishes with a 33. It looks like that was a late split. I think that might have been a 33.45, but RaceBot has him clocked in at 33.47.
Very nice run by Trogdor.
Easy 33.
And Berlin just finishing off the Gator on the refights.
So congratulations to Trogdor on another victory in his group. I'm pretty sure that will guarantee, obviously, that may guarantee him an advance to the bracket elimination phase. Because I think he has one more person to play in his pool.
You know who it is? You know who the next person is for him?
Not right offhand. I think Trogdor has played. Who did he play in his other match? I can't remember. Was it No, it wasn't Maverick. I don't think. There's so many names and there's so many brackets to keep up with.
Yeah. All right. Berlin getting probably the easiest Shoryu in the game. You just turn around and get a Shoryu. He's I think he has about 3 or 2 more Mavericks to go. Maybe 1. I'd say 2. Centipede. Oh, I think he works his way down. That's what I do. Or used to do.
Now you see there,
yeah.
Berlin went for the Shoryuken, but didn't quite get him flush, and he was actually going to throw shurikens there. So when Centipede took the knockback, it forces the teleport. So that's why that happened. And luckily, it teleported on the ceiling, which makes the Shoryuken pretty easy to land.
Oh, he did have 3 more.
Yeah.
Unless he already did snail.
Berlin jumped over Crab there when he deployed the bubble. When X is over Bubble Crab will abandon the bubble and he'll break out the claws and try to jump up into you. And when he's in the air, he's vulnerable for a Shoryuken.
Oh, Berlin had 4 more to go. I was completely wrong.
So Ostrich is very ouch.
Ooh.
Ostrich, all you have to do is just jump over him, and then once he goes to the left side, you just Shoryuken. But looks like he's having a little trouble.
Oh,
okay, he got a piece of him. Okay, now he got it.
Okay. Yeah. Ostrich is also one of the easier Shoryus, but what I noticed is that it can be... Because usually you jump over him. Trogdor did the Icy Hot strat, which is a bit of a newer strat, but most people still jump over him and then do a Shoryu the other way. And what you saw Berlin do, doing the Shoryuken the wrong way, is something I see quite often. I've done it myself a couple times too. Or before doing the Shoryu, you dash first and accidentally bonk into him, which is also a very common thing. So you just really want to make sure.
Snail didn't want to play ball. He just went to a shell. Berlin hopes for the magnet there to hit Snail, and Snail just stands there, but he went into a shell. And that's pretty cool. Berlin gets on top of the shell when he Shoryukens the Snail.
Sadly, the hitbox disappears. Or at least in a real fight it does.
Yeah, once the explosion is over, the shell's hitbox will disappear.
Yeah.
So Berlin's got one more stage. He's probably going to have a low 40 if everything goes right for him. I don't think he can get a sub 40. No, especially not now that he's taken damage a couple of times.
Yeah, I don't think he has a sub-tank, actually.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. So he has to get some health from not only the turrets, but he can also let these pink blocks drop, and then he can hope you get some health from those. Okay, he got a big health, so that's good. He's got a little bit of sub-tank energy. Although if he takes a hit from one of the Sigma's pink orbs, he won't be able to get full health with that sub-tank energy because those deal 3 damage. And the big health refills only fill up 2 units of energy in a sub-tank.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no. There was no escape. He does have a little bit more health than that. And he's going to go ahead and burn it. What Berlin's trying to do there, he's trying to shoot lemons at Zero because when Zero is shot with a lemon, he'll block it. So he's delaying Zero's attack so that when Zero eventually drops his guard, Berlin will actually be able to Shoryuken him.
It's actually very nice that he still got the double Shoryu on him.
It's a good stall tactic, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to get into that fight optimally and you don't trust yourself 100% into it, lemoning is a very good way of preparing yourself a bit more.
Okay, come on, Sigma. Cooperate. Uh-oh. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
Dodging.
no.
Oh.
Now, yep, we're going to have a long fight here.
Yeah. That's very unfortunate.
If Berlin can avoid taking a lot of damage, he can still salvage it in the virus form if he can get some health.
Yeah. True. The virus form actually drops enemies here and there. And I think ideally you want the screwdriver guys to spawn, because those have the most chance of dropping health, usually.
Yeah, they do have a high health drop rate.
What is Trogdor? Trogdor showing off some weird glitches in the game.
Yeah, there's some weird glitches.
I've never seen that one, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff you can do with the Giga Crush. And it pretty much is a soft lock anywhere that you use it. Like, if you use the Giga Crush as you enter a scrolling point, the game doesn't know what to do with you, I think, and it just
You just stand there like, what am I fighting for?
Like, if you use the Giga Crush really close to a boss door and you touch the door during where X is about to unleash his energy, I think that causes a soft lock.
Yeah.
There is
not having too much health, so he has to be careful, and he doesn't seem to be very careful, so...
Yeah, he has to be careful, because taking damage from not only the beam coming out of the virus's... Oh, no. The virus's mouth.
Oh, no.
And if you take damage off of those CX4 graphic orbs there, those deal quite a bit of damage also.
Yeah, actually what Berlin said, what Justin said earlier about emulator differences, there is no lag in the wireframe fight on emulator, so that's actually quite a bit harder, because you have less time to react. I think for Perfection for mentioning that in the chat.
Yeah, but you can hit the hits a lot faster in real time because of the no lag. Oh, there he gets the Shoryuken into the room. Awesome. So we might see the 0-5 the way it's meant to be done. And that's a pretty good distance. I prefer to be not that close to him, because then you can kind of buffer the forward input a little bit to go into the Shoryuken. So, oh no, if you Shoryu too early, that's what can happen. Because while Zero's guard is still up, you can actually Shoryu through him, and it's not even affected.
Oh, that was a very scary fight.
So, let's see how we do on Wolverine Sigma Take 2.
The revenge section.
I call rushed forward and then teleport. I think he'll actually give him the right pattern this time.
Yeah. Let's hope he gets to Shoryu.
Oh yeah, and that also brings up a good point. Ikisode in chat mentioned that there's no lag in the SNES 9X emulator, but BizHawk emulates some lag with the CX4.
Oh, Berlin's still having... Oh, and he gets to Shoryu by having a little bit of health still in the sub-tank. Very nice. So, let's see if he can get the one hit. I don't think he does the dash underneath and dash back, so he might go for the Ajarmar special, which is a 50-50 kill. Oh, he does try to go for it, but... Yeah.
And Berlin just lets Sigma encase him, and then just shoot the chain, and that's a GG for Berlin.
Very nice.
Finishes with a 44-10 in race bot.
In race bot. Oh, yeah, you're in the SRL channel, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, was a good race.
Yeah,
was
pretty
not
good race.
Like there's quite a gap between the times of these two players. So I do have to say, like, Trogdor having a very good race time, and Berlin very, very nice for a race, and very nice because he's still pretty new to the game. So,
but at least he finished strong, though. Getting all the
GG.
Shoryukens on the last enemies, that's definitely something to be proud of,
Definitely.
regardless of how later he finished compared to Trog.
Yeah. Finishing strong. GG's to both players. Is there an interview we do?
I'm not really sure.
I mean, if they want to, I wouldn't mind.
I believe we may not have time for a post-race interview because Mega Man 3 race is scheduled in about 10 minutes. Do we have time?
Right. Berlin and Trogdor, if you want to go into the call, get a little post-race interview, feel free. Don't have to, but if you want. Hey, what's up, Berlin?
Hey.
GG on the race.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who watched. It was fun.
Good job on getting the good finish there on the last 3 bosses.
Yeah, you definitely finished strong.
Yeah, it's like my inputs are bad. I need a new controller, but it's not an excuse. I had fun. It was cool.
That's good.
Hope the people had fun. Hope you had fun in commentating.
I definitely did.
Nice.
Not the best commentary I've done, but I had fun.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to pop in. GG. Congrats, Trogdor, and yeah, hope people have fun later in the next X2 race.
Yeah. The first Mega Man 3. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, I'm out. See you.
All right. Bye.
Alrighty, and coming up is the Mega Man 3 tournament race. The participants coming up is Colonel Fatso, who is another X2 runner, top level runner, and he's playing Mr. Swede TV here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I think that's our time, or at least my time. I don't know if you're going to commentate on that. So
No, I'm not. I'm about to sign off here in just a moment. So just want to say to everyone, thanks for watching the race.
yes.
Please give these guys a follow if you have not done so already.
Yes, definitely. Shoutouts to Fiesel for restreaming. I think he's restreaming at least. And of course, shoutouts to Justin. Shoutouts to Trogdor and Berlin. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the Mega Man 3 tournament race, and we will see you back here for more X2 action later tonight.